please call the roll.
Michael Yerdon has been marked excused. Herbert Yerdon.
Here.
Edward Gilson has been marked excused. David Holz.
Here.
Roy Rehill.
Here.
John Martino.
Here.
Frank Lombardo.
Here.
Paul House.
Here.
James Weatherup.
Here.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
Here.
Linda Lockwood. Richard Klein.
Present.
Patrick Twist.
Here.
Stephen Walpole.
Here.
Kevin Hill.
Here.
James Scanlon.
Here.
Charles Berger's been marked excused. Robert Wilmot.
Here.
Marie Schad.
Here.
Paul Conley.
Here.
Noel Samuelson.
Here.
James Karasik.
Here.
Michael Soloway's been marked excused. Mark Greco.
Here.
Frank Castilia.
Wouldn't miss it.
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 present, 4 excused. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Would the clerk now lead us in the invocation?
As we gather in this new year, may we be blessed to tackle any challenges, encouraged to deflect any differences, and inspired to make the best choices. May we always be sincere in our efforts to help others in need and the strength to bring light into the world around us. Please help us look to the past with gratitude and to the future with hope. Amen.
Thank you. Now the Pledge of Allegiance today will be led by legislators Hill and Bombardo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have Legislator Greco come forward.
Okay, elections for chairman of the legislature. Can open the floor. I'd like to open the floor for the nomination for chairman of the legislature. Legislator Martino.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. I will make the nomination for James Weatherup for chairman of the legislature. He's done a fine job with us so far, and I'd like to see that continue.
Agreed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Multiple seconds. Any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman.
Again, thank you very much. We'll move on now to elections of, well, we need to swear it in first.
Yeah.
Can't do it without being sworn in.
All right, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, James Weatherup,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature
of the office of the Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
That's one of the better times I appeared before a judge. We'll now open up the floor for the election of vice chairman.
I would like to nominate Mark Greco. He's done a fine job for us, and I'd like to continue with that.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Frank Castilia.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Legislator Castilia seconds himself. Good. Thank you. Any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Being no further nominations, all in favor of Legislator Greco for Vice Chairman, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor for Legislator Castillo to be Vice Chairman, say aye.
Aye.
I believe the first ayes have it.
Can we do a recount?
Thank you. So now, at this point, I would declare Legislator Greco the Vice Chairman, and if you could come forward, sir, for your swearing.
Please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
Mark Greco,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Vice Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature
of the office of Vice Chairman of the Oswego County Legislature,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to open the floor for nominations for Clerk of the Legislature.
At this time, I would like to place the name of Betsy Karen Sherman for Clerk of the Legislature. She's done a fantastic job for us, is always there, and I would like to see her continue in that.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Multiple seconds. Have any other nominations? Any other nominations? There being no further nominations, I would declare Betsy Saunders, I don't use the Karen word for her, I would declare her the clerk. And all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good procedure.
Now you do it.
Now I'm declaring her. So, could you step forward and is there swear you? You can come forward too, Chris.
I get better to get back here, sir.
Holy Bible.
Yeah.
All right, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Betsy Karen Saunders,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Clerk of the Oswego County Legislature
of the office of the Clerk of the Oswego County Legislature,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'd like to thank Judge Nazarian for taking time out of his day to do these duties for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Best of luck in 2025. Thank you so much for having me. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, I would like to announce Legislator John Martino as the majority leader. I would announce that Legislator Mary Ellen Chesbrough will be the majority whip. Still Frank?
Hey, we had to do a recall on the vote.
Well, you want a roll call on that?
Well, I had 8 votes, she had 9, I just believe it.
Let's not get into ballot harvest. I would announce Legislator Frank Castillo as the minority leader. And I would also announce that Legislator Marie Shaw is the minority whip. now to a public hearing. Mr. Mitchell.
Notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the county legislature of the county of Oswego will meet at the legislative chambers, 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York, at 2:00 p.m. on the 7th day of January 2025. Purpose of holding a public hearing on local law number 1 of the year 2025, entitled "The Local Law Amending Local Law number 1 of 1993 regarding the reapportionment of county legislative districts." Maps and descriptions can be inspected at the office of the clerk of the county legislature at 46 East Bridge Street, Oswego, New York, during regular business hours, and are also available online at the county's website. By order of the county legislature, December 12, 2024, Betsy Sherman Saunders, clerk. Any persons wishing to speak regarding proposed local law number 1 of 2025 concerning county legislative districts, please step forward and state your name.
Legislator Martino.
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, there being no persons wishing to be heard at this time, I'd request you declare the public hearing closed at 2:13.
So done. I trust we've had a chance to look at the minutes of the county legislature meeting for December 12th and December 18th.
Move it.
Second.
We have a second. Multiple seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Legislator Martino, is there any public speakers on resolutions of the day?
No, sir, there are not.
Thank you. Moving now to reports of county officials. Any reports of the standing committee? Any report of special committees? Moving then to resolution OR1 by Legislator Holtz.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution appointing public defender in and for the county of Oswego.
Yes, this is where Bradley Garrison, of the city of Oswego, is hereby appointed to the Oswego County Public Defender's Office. Terms beginning immediately and ending December 31st, 2025.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, there's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
All right. Could Brad stand up so we can... Thank you. Resolution OR2 by Legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing the execution of a license agreement with the city of Fulton, UAV Drone Systems, Fulton Municipal Building.
Yes, this is where the drone program, which is deploying 2 UAV systems that are used for the Fulton Municipal Building.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR3 by Legislator House.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution and urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing deferring the implementation of the new Department of Solid Waste fee schedule until February 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR4 by Legislator Holtz.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution designating the official newspapers for publication of all elected notices, official canvass, local laws, notices, and other matters required by law to be published.
This is Lady Times, Oswego, Valley News, Oswego County News, are going to use this.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR5 by Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution designating the Oswego County Treasurer as the responsible official to correct certain clerical errors, unlawful entries, and errors in essential fact under real property tax law.
is as written. It will be a pleasure to continue to work with our county treasurer, Kevin Carter.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, there's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR6 by legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution adopting an Oswego County investment policy and designating banks as depositories of county funds.
Another annual thing that's written.
Understood. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, there's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR7 by legislator Holt.
Mr. Chairman, I offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution adopting County of Oswego Local Law Number 1 of 2025, entitled A Local Law Amending Local Law Number 1 of 1993 regarding the reapportionment of county legislative districts.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Dave Turner forward. Tell us how we ended up with this process. Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman. Given that there have been some comments in this chamber and erroneous reports in the media about how this process was done, I think it's fair and appropriate for the public to understand the process. In 2011, I was charged with adjusting the legislative districts to be consistent with the results of the 2010 census, given that we had experienced a decline in population and several of the existing districts were no longer able to meet the most basic of the equal representation guidelines, that being no district's population should be more than 2.5% over or under the median district population. This number is fairly simple to calculate: the total population of the county divided by the number of legislative districts. To that, we are required to add a prison population number provided to us by New York State. This number is the total of currently incarcerated persons who were residents of Oswego County at the time of their incarceration. That number is then equally divided between all of the 25 districts, which gives us an adjusted median population target for each of the 25 districts. From there, we used a GIS-based software program that is comprised of shape files of various sizes and shapes, each of which contains population information. Each of these shape files is unique in its shape, size, and the number of people within it. There's no rhyme or reason to their shape or size, and some actually have no people living within them, at least none who responded to the census. Sometimes these shape files follow a recognizable geographic item like a road, a municipal boundary, body of water, or a railroad or utility corridor. Sometimes they're just a random line and not often close to being straight. Our county is divided into hundreds of these random shapes, and we have to combine them into legislative districts that make sense and meet redistricting guidelines. Specifically, they should be as equal in population as possible and practicable. They should be contiguous. In other words, you shouldn't have a district that's got a gap in between it. It should be one contiguous area. They should not be discriminatory, with race, creed, all the typical things that you wouldn't discriminate against populations for. Fortunately, none of that information about our population is used in the calculation. We only use numbers of people. They should use political boundaries where possible. They should use identifiable boundaries to facilitate a proper legal description. Something where a person who wants to understand where their district is can go and say, oh, yes, I see the bridge, and I see that the bridge is the boundary. I know that that side of the bridge I live in, District 5, that side is District 6. It should be easy for people to understand. Where possible, you should try not to unnecessarily divide communities. Sometimes that's not possible. Those maps were reviewed with some scrutiny and eventually adopted. We did, however, in our efforts for continuous improvement and with the assistance and advice from our partners at the Board of Elections, find some places where it was logical to make some adjustments if it became necessary to repeat this exercise following the 2020 census, which in fact it did, and I was again asked to create new maps. The primary driver for changes starts with where we had population growth or where we experienced population loss. Overall, our population declined by about 5,000, and the census reported our total as 117,525, which gave us a median population of 4,701 for each of the 25 districts. Adjusting for the prisoner population required us to add another 11 persons to each district, resulting in the final target for each district of 4,712. Oswego County consists of 22 towns and 2 cities. The towns' populations range from 476 in Redfield to 9,342 in Hastings, while the cities were reported to have 11,389 in Fulton and 16,921 in Oswego. Considering those numbers, it's easy to see that strictly dividing the county into 25 equal shapes would not result in equal populations across those districts. The software we use does make that possible, but given that we are bound by the hundreds of random shape files I previously described, it's no small task by the time we incorporate the rules we abide by. In order to stay within the allowable deviation off median, no district could have more than 117 persons above or below the median of 4,712. I have printouts here of the final district counts, if anyone is interested in those numbers and the related deviations. The main changes in this rendition of maps, other than those driven by population, were in an effort to reduce work and related expense at the Board of Elections. Primarily where it was possible, we tried to eliminate small and unnecessary election districts, most commonly the result of crossing municipal lines unnecessarily or dividing municipalities when not needed. For example, Minetto, with a population of 1,643, previously had 2 legislators. Using the districting guidelines and common sense, it was logical to reduce that to 1. It also meant less work and expense for the Board of Elections. Another example was in District 4, which previously had a very small section in West Monroe that we were able to eliminate. District 13 had a similar issue where it extended into Scriba and could otherwise be accommodated if we instead used the Scriba-New Haven line as the district boundary line. And finally, it's most important to clarify that the only information I used to create these maps was population. At no time did I have any information whatsoever related to people's political registrations or voting records. In fact, I clearly stated in 2011, when first asked to undertake this process, that I did not want that information, and if it was required that I use it, I would have to decline the request to undertake that project. I repeated that stipulation in 2022 when asked again to take charge of this initiative. I can assure you there were members on both sides of the aisle that weren't pleased with the final outcome, but I hope that this explanation, while perhaps longer than some might have hoped for and had the patience for, Mr. Chairman, will give comfort to the public who may have been misled by uninformed statements. I also have here copies of what those shape files look like, if anyone wants to further understand how complicated that was. I also have a printout here that shows all of the districts and their proportions, which you can see are very close to being similar. And as I stated, printouts of the districts and their various populations and deviations. If there are any questions, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Legislator Martino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Republican caucuses looked at these maps, and as Dave Turner had said, that not everybody was happy with the changes, as he stated, on both sides of the aisle. However, we are in full support of this, and we will be voting on it yes today.
Thank you. Legislator Castillo.
Ladies and gentlemen, legislators, legality We'll talk about that later. Unethical, lacking integrity, yes. Independently performed, that's doubtful. In that, everybody's gonna say, well, it's done by the computer. Computer doesn't look at anything other than numbers. But anybody that's taken a computer class, that's gone on for a computer degree, will say garbage in, you get garbage out. Right now, we started out, when I was the legislator, with a large pizza that we had, at this pizza party that we're having here at the legislature. It's gone down to a medium-sized pizza. Have we cut down the number of people that we're going to invite to that pizza party? No, we have not. So the size of your slice of pizza is now smaller than it was before. The compensation and retention study that we did that was so amply brought up when we spoke about the raises that were going to be handed out, how we had compared ourselves to 15 other counties. And I bring you to attention that I had everybody get a copy of Exhibit A, which shows the 15 different counties, their population, the number of legislators, the square miles that they cover, the number that they represent per legislator, and the miles that they cover. Because there are people that will say that, well, we're such a rural county, we need to have more legislators. And if you look at it, the averages are 15 legislators, almost 16. Square miles is 951. Number represented by legislators is 6,954. We are off by 2,252. Number of miles that we cover is 38. The average is 63. Now you may say, okay, let's throw out Onondaga County. So if you look at Exhibit B, it throws out Onondaga County. You still have an average of 15.7 legislators per county. Again, the square miles is 952. Number represented by legislators is 5,549. So we're off by 847 people. Now, if you look at Exhibit C, I took out everything but the ones that closely related to Oswego County, which is called 127,000 whatever the name of that county is, Jefferson County, Ontario, St. Lawrence, and Tompkins County. The closest one to us is Jefferson County. They have 15 legislators, 10 less than us. Their square miles is 1,269. The number that they represent, 7,733. They cover 84 miles. We cover 38. We have 4,701 or 715. We are so far out of whack with other counties. Now, if you look at D, this is every county in the state. I put in red the counties that are closest to us in number of legislators. Albany County, they've got 39, they're more than us. Dutchess, they've got 25, but their population is 297,000. Monroe County, they have 29. Their population is 735,000. We have a population of 117,000 with 25 legislators. Now, if you look at Exhibit E, all I did is highlight the ones that were higher than us or the same amount as us. And it's Albany, Dutchess, Monroe, and Oswego County. Albany County's got 523 square miles, Dutchess 795, Monroe 657, and us at 952. but the population is what, and that's what Dave did his redistricting on, his population. We are so far out of whack as to what we represent. It is time that we started looking at reducing this legislature, and I say that we should go down by 6 legislators at least.
Mr. Chairman, point of
Maybe
order.
4.
Point of order. What does all this information have to do with the redistricting?
Everything.
The redistricting.
It has everything to do with
As this resolution is right today.
You're correct. The resolution today is to approve or disapprove as it was read in the public hearing.
Exactly. So
That's it.
what does this point,
That's what's up.
there's no correlation between these two.
Thank you.
why Legislator Shaw will speak now.
Legislator Shaw.
Well, I have a big problem with it, and some of it is on the deviation and percent deviation, which is a statistician could work with that on you, but why not just take the entire number and divide it equally by 25, if that's how you want to do it. I watched, you can move the map around, and I've lost over 300 votes, period. But I would like to make a statement pertaining to this body's consideration of the newly drawn legislative maps. I firmly believe, as a county, we should move to utilize an independent, non-biased, third-party vendor in the creation of our legislative maps. This process deserves complete transparency, and right now, I am far from convinced that transparency and fairness is taking place. The Office of Strategic Initiatives, an office created by this legislature's Republican majority, has been tasked with the creation of the legislature maps, and this is a direct conflict in fair map creation and reeks of gerrymandering. I alone lose 300. I move to table this resolution in order to solicit an independent, non-biased, third-party vendor to create our legislative maps. The public deserves nothing less, and when backed into this corner, the minority caucus will not rest. We firmly believe the state law is on our side and will explore avenues of accountability if this resolution passes as written today. Home rule no longer stands. While we're at it, let's follow President Trump's lead in eliminating bloated government, waste, and have an independent, non-biased third party explore ways to reduce this legislature. It's long overdue. It's time. The timing is perfect. I move to table this till February.
Second. We have a second.
Second, roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Thank you. Non-debatable, roll call vote.
Michael Yurden has been marked excused. Herbert Yurden.
Nay.
Edward Gilson's been marked excused. David Holst.
No.
Roy Rehel.
No.
John Martino.
No.
Frank Bombardo.
No.
Paul House.
No.
James Weatherup.
No.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
No.
Linda Lockwood.
No.
Richard Klein.
No.
Patrick Twist.
No.
Stephen Walpole.
No.
Kevin Hill.
No.
James Scanlon.
No.
Charles Berger's been marked excused. Robert Wilmot.
No.
Marie Schad.
Yes.
Paul Conley.
No.
Noel Samuelson.
No.
James Karasik.
No.
Michael Soloway's been marked excused. Mark Greco.
No.
Frank Castilla.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, that's 2 in favor, 19 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Could we now go to a roll call vote on the original resolution?
Michael Yurden has been marked excused. Herbert Yurden.
Yes.
Edward Gilson's been marked excused. David Holst.
Yes.
Roy Rehel.
Yes.
John Martino.
Yes.
Frank Bombardo.
Yes.
Paul House.
Yes.
James Weatherup.
Yes.
Mary Ellen Chesbro.
Yes.
Linda Lockwood.
Yes.
Richard Klein.
Yes.
Patrick Twist.
Yes.
Stephen Walpole.
Yes.
Kevin Hill. James Scanlon.
Yes.
Charles Berger's been marked excused. Robert Wilmot.
Yes.
Marie Schad.
No.
Paul Conley.
Yes.
Noel Samuelson.
Yes.
James Karasik.
Yes.
Michael Soloway has been marked excused. Mark Greco.
Yes.
Frank Castelia.
No way, Jose.
Mr. Chairman, it's 19 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Legislator Martino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to take a moment to thank Dave Turner for the hard work that he did put into this and going over all this information and presenting us with an explanation today.
Thank you. Resolution OR8 by Legislator Holmes.
Mr. Chairman, offer this resolution, urge its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution approving the execution of a consulting agreement with Alex Bogowich concerning the Addis ethanol Fulton property.
Yes, this is to keep Alex Bolovich in charge of over at the plant, and the sum is not to exceed $5,000 per month. And it will be, this is good through June 30, 2025.
Thank you. Any discussion? Legislator Shaw.
Mr. Chairman, can we recoup all these wages that have gone on for a considerable amount of time?
We believe so. Will Mr. Mitchell please speak?
We've informed the court that the last amended stipulation was not executed, or excuse me, was not acted upon by High Score, and that we'll be submitting terms of sale to the court. We have some other charges and stuff that we would like to add, to the extent allowed by law, to recoup from any auction sale, and then a surplus will be dealt with in accordance with the new provisions of the RPTL. So auction is one way that this property can be disposed of. It's probably the easiest way because the termination of surplus is automatic by the auction bid price. The other route is an appraisal, which would have to be court ready and is subject to interpretation. So we'll try and recoup those charges to the.
Do we attach them, Rich, to deed? I'm
Well,
just curious.
some of them re-levied as taxes, those are automatically recoupable, subject to being recouped because they're on the tax rolls. The judgment lien that the county has, we sued because of the defaulted pilot. We also did property execution to have the sheriff levy and sell certain properties, so there's a reduction in the total amount of the judgment, which was ballpark, I think, $180,000. I'd have to look. And then we have expenses for, care and upkeep of the plant, putting out the fire, that aren't necessarily reduced to liens, but we'll see what the court says about us being able to recoup those. Because it's certainly unusual what we've had to do with this facility.
And I can get with you after, so I know where we're at.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Resolution OR9 by Legislator Walpole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer the following resolution and recommend its adoption.
Will the clerk please read the heading?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification vacation buyback.
Once again, an annual thing, it's a actual annual buyback vacation.
Understood. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, that's 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and 4 excused.
Thank you. Moving now to unfinished business. Any miscellaneous business? Looking for the appropriate motion? Adjourn. At this point now, Legislator Martino, any public comment?
There are none, sir.